start recording this now.
Um,
I'll just repeat this for the recording. It's very important that we have a doorway mentality, that we're not just throwing up our streams on Facebook and hoping that passive viewers will watch us, but we're asking among our leadership teams and our eldership teams a very important question. That is, how do we engage the person to take the next step in building relationships with our community?
Mm-hmm.
It's only the front threshold of the door when someone's looking in and watching a live stream service.
Yeah.
Because nothing is required of them. Nothing is really relating to them. No one's talking with them. It's They're passive viewers. It's like a TV show that they might also be watching TBN or CBN or whatever is online at the moment. So the question is, how do we as a community show that we care, show that we are distinct? Because another thing that's happened is with all these live stream services, they're a dime a dozen, or maybe even a penny for 100 of them. I mean, it's like there's so many people doing this now, and praise God, I think the message is going out, and this is important. But the question is, how do we show that we are distinct in our message? So if you're able to show love, care, and concern, and if you're able to show how you as a community are distinct in providing something, then you're going to see a higher percentage of people interested in taking the next step.
Yeah.
But the next phase of your strategy has to be, what are we doing to connect to those people? We talk about this in the case of evangelism. Let's say that you go out and you're dropping 1,000 tracts. I know that we're not a tract culture anymore. They end up in the trash, and there's all kinds of issues with tracts. But let's just use this as an example. You give 1,000 tracts away, but on the back of that flyer, that tract, there's no address, there's no phone number, there's no website, contact information. That's what your live stream service will do if you don't have a clear pathway and call to action for people. So what I'm encouraging you to do is, part of promoting your live stream is making sure that whatever platform you're using, Facebook, YouTube, whatever, you have a clear call to action. Hey, if you are watching us for the first time, we want to connect with you, and here's how you do that. Pick up the phone here, or visit our website, or sign up for our mailing list. But we would love to talk to you. If they're willing to do that, then give them a pathway that they can actually communicate with a person and hear them and respond. That will increase your engagement level tremendously.
Yeah.
Ben, one thing I've noticed too is a lot more activity in chat in our live stream on the YouTube, and we put one of our elders who kind of is there, as well as one of our intercessors, to interact with people that chat specifically during the service. It's not usually that deep level stuff, but it is, something that they interact with someone who's in authority, as well as protecting the chat in case someone comes in that shouldn't be there. I haven't seen that yet, but it is there.
That is a very, very important piece. Thank you for mentioning that, because we like to have credible people. Now, it doesn't matter age, and it doesn't matter theology. We don't encourage debating on these kind of forums, but the person should be mature enough to know how to carry on conversations and draw people out to engage. It's more than just saying, hey, shout out what city and state you're from, which you'll see a lot of these, and you'll see hundreds of people just saying, hey, shalom from this area. That's interesting. But what's more interesting is when you can get people to comment on what is being said. Hey, any thoughts about this passage? What is the Lord saying to you through it? That will create what we call engagement. It's not just the fact that they are making a hello comment, but they're engaging with the material. And it's actually what teachers love. If teachers are up there, they love it when the people are grasping the material and discovering new things about it themselves. So it's a great format, but you have to have someone who's creative in drawing out those conversations, and then is good at responding to them, not just, oh, great comment, but Yeah, that's a really interesting point. And we also think that, you know, so you can have an ongoing side dialogue that's very, very helpful. Hey, Joshua.
All right, it's not the tightest seal, but it's pretty tight.
That's awesome. So I've just been going over some real key pointers about social media, not just being a platform where you throw content, but also being an opportunity to engage people. And
Yeah.
that those communities who only throw up a TV show, it's a passive way of engagement. People are not really building relationship. And so I mentioned two things that are important. Number one is that we ask ourselves as a leadership team how we can engage the people who are connecting to us as a first step. Like, how do we, what might we do? Do we invite them with a call to action to sign up on an email list, or do we invite them to call somebody so that they can ask questions, or do we, you know, so there's a pathway for them. The second is we have to be able to show why our community is unique, because there's so many live streams out there that we have to make ourselves stick out in a way that's not hyped. But look, if there's something that your community does really well, then say that. My dad always says, the people that got, you know, the methods that you use to draw people will be the methods that you have to continue to do to keep them. So don't be disingenuous about who you are. Be genuine so that those who connect to you will stick and stay. And so that's basically what I was sharing before you popped on. So go
May I
ahead.
say something before?
Yeah, go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, it's very interesting what you shared about the digital burnout, quote unquote, because we have been noticing that we do not have live streaming, but we have the Zoom for Bible studies and so on. And interestingly, though, we have a 7 a.m. prayer meeting using a social media. It's a teleconferencing service, Fongo. You have heard of it. So people don't feel invaded. Like you're gonna, you know, okay, I need my video off there. I'm antisocial. They could be lying in bed still, drinking a coffee. And interestingly, that has almost 100% participation every day. Just the video, the audio calls, and people have been sharing things that are deeper and more meaningful, and the relationship, it's almost as if it's getting more intimate than when we were meeting at the congregational home, the building. And so that has been working really, really well, and I've been trying to figure it out. But on the other hand, as you say, the video, the Zooming, it's plateaued, and sometimes we even see a decline in the number of people logging on, or they log on late and they they don't engage the video, and they say nothing, but they listen and go away. So that's
excellent comments. And that, again, that is part of the discussion about what are the different ways that you can serve your community, your existing community. And look, one of the things we found is that Zoom is better for connecting to people that we know. Okay?
Yeah.
Much better. But it might be that doing a more professional, polished live stream service, and look, you don't need a lot of fancy equipment to get started. But it might be that doing a live stream service with engagement strategy, meaning you have people who are commenting and drawing engagement, and you're encouraging follow-up. To use my track example, if you're passing out 1,000 tracks, it's helpful if you also have response cards that you are writing down people's names of those who are interested. So if anyone that you're talking to on the street shows any amount of interest, then you ask, hey, I'd like to call you. If you have questions, I'd be happy to do that. Well, it's the same concept. In a digital platform, you have to ask yourself, how are we going to draw these people into relationship? And that's really part of the strategy as well. Josh, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll just insert into here, and sorry if I repeat something that Ben has already said, because Ben and I have been hooked at the arm here for quite a few months about live streaming. And well, first thing is, have you visualized what disaster looks like? Because we just had to do that. And you always ask that question. That's actually the last point I had here is, have you visualized disaster, which means that the tool just simply doesn't work. What do you do when you do that? I'll get to that in just a second, but you guys have already hit on it right here. And what I wanted to mention is that content is king in anything you do. And in fact, the same questions that you will ask yourself as a leader of what do I want to accomplish in this Shabbat service? What do I want to accomplish in this Havarat? Those are the same questions that you will ask yourself, what do I want to accomplish when I live stream? So don't be intimidated about this whole new world of live streaming. The skills and the discipline that you have as a leader to bring quality content that's led of the Lord is the same strategy that you'll use for live streaming. Instead of talking into a Shure microphone in a four-walled sanctuary, you are talking to people directly. So content strategy is still just as important for live stream, if not even more, because you are talking to people outside your walls. I wanted to make a point that live streaming is beyond capturing your service and putting it online. It's just like another child. You cannot take care of that child, mimic how you have, say 15, that's about $1,800. And this is a camera that you're going to want to manually operate. You're going to want an operator for this type of camera. And that's about $1,800. Now, the next tier doubles that price point, and that is the Sony NX5R. It's about $3,000. And this starts to get into the Sony cameras, which are the ones that, Nationals Park uses, the presidential debates. They're using cameras that are part of the Sony family. But the baby Sony, the one that would get your foot in the door, is the NX5R, about $2,900. And it has 20 times zoom, that it's still HD. It actually goes up to 40 times zoom, but you lose the HD quality when you do that. So I just wanted to share those cameras. You have a camera that's $200 and you have a camera that's $3,000. And there's a huge range of quality between those two things. But I would recommend multiple camera angles, no matter what camera that you have. So if you want multiple camera angles, the next piece of equipment that you'll need besides a camera is a video switcher to manage these multiple cameras. The most affordable switcher that I could find is a Black Magic. It's $300. It allows you to put 4 HDMI inputs, so 4 cameras can go into this switcher, and from this little console, you're able to switch between channels.